After seeing what he did to our main male character in the past, I was just outright disgusted. Like, I was screaming at my screen like, this disgusting, heinous piece, a waste of flesh. Like, he's a waste of meat. He is a waste of air. He is just a disgusting individual. And I'm just so glad that the man was, just gone. Right then and there, pretty much, when we found out about all of this. Makes me pretty freaking happy. So, Marvin, definitely a character that, was heinous, and I think this is probably not going to be the worst of it. I feel like there's probably a lot worse out there now that I think about the situation with the mob boss, Dino. I feel like, we got a little bit more context between his relationship and the MC's relationship. So, let's get into that. It's very apparent that our MC was taken advantage of as a kid, and he was someone that didn't really have much else he could do about it. Like, he was just forced to live the life the way he is right now. He was forced to be like a gangster, someone a part of a crime syndicate. He was kind of forced to be a part of this. There was really not much he could do about it, and he was also, like I said, taken advantage of by people around him, and Marvin was one of them, and most likely Dino did that as well, probably on a whole new level. And I just can't help but feel bad for our main character because of just the information we got about him in this week's episode, which, let's get into that. Not a lot of anime usually cover stuff like this. A lot of writers, not just anime and manga, but a lot of writers in literature tend to shy away from something like this and just either sugarcoat it or just kind of imply it but never really directly say it. But it seems like Banana Fish, it has no problems with just being direct, honest, and letting you know the cold, harsh truth of reality and how the world kind of works. Because the stuff like this is absolutely disgusting, but at the same time, it is something that does happen. And I feel like some watching this show might take it in a different way and think that this show is trying to justify it and think it's okay. But in reality, it was putting it down. It was showcasing how horrific and messed up it was, but it wasn't trying to sugarcoat and act like it's not there. It was trying to say, look, it's horrible, but you got to admit that it's always there. It's always something that's been behind the scenes in life. It happens. And I appreciate how honest this show is. It doesn't try to hide the fact of how gruesome or messed up a series or a world is. And so that, like I said, mad respect. Another thing, though, I need to get into, though, is the police force and Dino's influence. It's very apparent, after watching this episode, that Dino's influence is very vast, very far-reaching. Definitely something that is scary. The man is able to flip a judge like it's nothing. He's able to have a judge just put someone away with no effort. He controls the police department, which, makes sense. But controlling a judge is definitely something that, is not easy. So for him to be able to control a judge, control the police department, and potentially people higher than the judge, the man controls the entire legal system. Which I think is a scary part about this show, because Dino effectively, he's untouchable right now. There's really not much that could be done to bring him down. Even if the drug Banana Fish was brought to light, and certain police officers, good cops, were to get a hold of it, it wouldn't really do much because of the man's influence. For all we know, he might be able to manipulate the media and tamper with it in whatever way. We don't really know. But at the very least, we do know that Dino, he has a lot of influence, and most likely taking him down is not going to be as simple as getting a little bit of evidence and putting it up there in front of everybody's face. Even if you potentially reveal it to the media, it's not going to be that easy. But yeah, that's definitely something that became very apparent after watching the second episode. But let's get into the situation with the cops and how they have been controlled by Dino. See, in the episode when RMC was getting questioned or interrogated about did he kill Marvin, they put in like a tape that showed the horrific stuff that happened to him. And like I said, it was like CP. And it makes me wonder, like, why didn't the two cops that were obviously good cops not do anything about that? They could have easily have said something like, stop playing that crap, that's horrible, or, they could have, taken that to someone higher up and said something, but they didn't, which speaks volumes about their characters and how they're the type of individuals that, are good people, but when the going gets tough and action needs to be done, they're not ones to go out of their way and, risk themselves to be able to save others. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, for them to just sit there and allow something like that to play and not turn something like that off, it shows that they may be good people, but they definitely are useless. They're definitely not going to get anything done. Even if they could potentially get, the banana fish and take it to, the media, they wouldn't do it because they're just spineless. That's what it looks like to me. So I felt very bad for the MC having to see something like that. You got to imagine like the trauma you would have if you saw something like that and what you've been through. I can't even begin to imagine how horrible that would be. And speaking of how horrible it is, the man's going to prison now. He's going to jail because he was set up. He was set up, and he's basically about to get, completely finished off by Dino because, he has something that Dino wants. He's not giving it up, so obviously Dino put him into prison to have him exactly where he wants him, become like a caged animal. And that's what's happening. So, yeah. Also, Dino controls the prison, which is another point of influence that he has, which is also scary. So he actually controls judges, he controls the police department, and he controls the prison. The warden of the prison. So his influence is pretty insane to be able to control all three things like that. He can effectively do whatever he wants. He can put someone away, get the trial done like it's nothing, and then end them in prison or keep them in prison however long he wants. He can make their life a living hell anyone he wants. So Dino's, his power, scary. And I feel like that's what the narrative was trying to really say to us in this episode, letting us know that Dino is untouchable. Can't do anything to him. Unless, you go beyond the law and do something that, the law can't normally do, like a vigilante. Anyways, thing about this episode is that there was a lot of dark moments throughout it, and there was even a death that happened. Skip died, which I did not think we would have a character death like that. I just didn't think Skip, of all characters, with the setup with his character from the first episode and all that, I didn't think he was going to die. Now, I want to be honest, I'm not really connected to Skip. Like, I didn't, cry or anything. It was kind of sad, but I wasn't, emotionally connected to him because we really haven't known Skip that long. But even then, though, I was just surprised of how quick Skip's death was. Like, the man was just there 1 minute, and the next moment, he's on the ground bleeding out. And I'm like, okay, that's definitely not, normal to see something like that done. But Skip is gone, and also the person that's been hanging around trying to get, a story with, the MC, he is free. He pole vaults over this wall, and it was symbolic for him being like a bird, free, and MC wants to be just like him, be free to where he can do whatever he wants. What he wants is freedom, because his entire life he's kind of been caged up. His entire mentality and everything has been warped by Dino, and he's never had really any freedom whatsoever to do what he wants. And so when he saw the man just jump over, the wall, it's like he's actually free. He's able to take initiative and do what he wants. He's able to, leave this place if he wants to. And I felt like he was very jealous, envious, and he wishes he was like that. So yeah, pretty interesting episode overall with the context, to the message, to the themes and stuff going on. I think it's a great episode. Definitely a step up from the first episode, narrative-wise, to the storyboarding, art and animation, just everything about the episode. It was a step up from the previous, which is a really good thing. I mean, the first episode was very good, a lot of stuff going on, but it was a very good episode, and I'm just glad this episode was a lot better than the previous, and I feel like many are probably going to enjoy the series a lot more because of the way this episode was directed, which, let's get into that. I saw many last week wanting to drop the series because of the Yaoi stuff, and that disappoints me. That really disappoints me. I'm really disappointed right now, because, look, I know many don't like Yaoi. I don't like it. I personally don't go out of my way to watch Yaoi, but it's not a reason to drop a show. And I saw many, as soon as I mentioned the word Yaoi, they're like, oh, I'm not watching this show. I'm like, are you serious? You're throwing aside good writing, good characters, and, a good story potentially, because you just don't want to deal with one genre. Come on. Don't be like that. So, that kind of upset me a little bit last week when I saw many saying that on Twitter, social media, on my comment section. It's just like, man, I wish people wouldn't judge. That's kind of what people were doing a year Yuri on Ice and all that. Yes, I know it's not as good as everybody was saying it was, but Yuri on Ice is a good series. It's a fun series and all that. So, just, it sucks. It sucked really seeing something like that last week. I hope many come back to this show and give it a chance, especially after the context we got to the Yaoi themes to the series. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you subscribe, you don't always get notified. So if you want to get notified, click the bell icon. And with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.